Hello, my name is Alan Prost, and I'm going to introduce you to how to use Brightspace rubrics. And I'm going to demonstrate in this short video how to construct them and how to implement them within your course in Brightspaces. So objectives today, we're going to demonstrate for and discuss why they're useful. We're going to talk to you about how to what the rubrics look like and how to implement them, how to construct them, how to link them to assignments within your D2L folders, and how to link them to your gradebook elements in D2L. So what I'm going to do right now is just give you a little demonstration of what it looks like to use a rubric within Brightspace. So when I've opened up my course where I've got an assignment already created, and I'm just going to go in and mark a student's assignment or skills, just come in here and I've already created an assignment. So just like we always would, I'm just going to come in here and take a look at what the student has submitted for the assignment. So in this case, I've just got a demonstration student, and I got the document that they've loaded up into the assignment folder. Now this might be a blank document if you're assessing a skill. And then I'm going to come over here to the right side, and I'm going to slide down here, and I'm going to activate the rubric that we've associated with the assignment. All right, so this one's Week 14 Clinical Skills. Now that opens up the rubric that I've already created. I'll be showing you that later on. Now, you can have this open in a couple of different ways so that it makes it easier to mark the assignment. So sometimes I like to have it on two screens, or just on one screen. I can make it quite small so I can review the assignment underneath and then score it on the rubric as I'm scoring it. Okay. So what's so powerful about this rubric? Well, it lets us build a nice scoring system, and I'm using a weighted scoring system here. That's why my score values here, my points are different. And as I go through, I can grade each item, and so under communications, I can talk about things like I can make comments in here. So you can add comments so that you can save those little comments so the student can get your feedback on whatever score you've done here. I'm going to show you how to set up all these different scoring systems. So the nice thing about scoring these is you can just go in and click on the buttons, and it'll technically calculate all the scores for you. You can go over here to the far right where I'm going to edit the score, and I can give them some feedback, right? And whatever you decide you want to give them on here. On a patient management, I can say, you know, just whatever comments that a reason why you scored this. All right, so for whatever reason, and here we're going to just score the rubric, and they did well on this one. All right, so you can score all the different sections here, giving them feedback wherever you like. Okay, so in this one I've got kind of a generic skills, so I would have to define what those were. Now the beauty of the rubric is that it scores it all for you. So you can see this student got a 79.9 or 80% on this assignment. Here's an important feature: you can transfer all the feedback to the assignment submissions. I generally don't do this, and then I'll hit save and record. Now when we come back to the students submission folder, you can see that we've got our score here over on the right. It was 79.9%, so the student got 80%. It's automatically put it in the score for us under the element here, so it scored it for us. The feedback is actually on the rubric, but you can have it come back into this window as well. Now what's really nice about that, I'm going to just update this for the student. All right, and I'm going to make sure that it's been published. Okay, so great, saved successfully, wonderful. Let's now come back, and we can go all the way back to our submissions. All right, and now I'm going to see what happened with that assignment folder. So I'm going to check the student's grades. All right, now this is the cool thing about the assignment folder, and look and behold, it's already scored that for us. So the student got 79.9. If I want to see the rubric itself and see how I scored it, or even alter the score, it brings me right back to the assignment folder. All right, so that's very handy. So that's one of the big reasons why we like to use these rubrics, is that I believe it makes scoring assignments and giving feedback to the student quick and efficient. So what I'm going to do for you now is demonstrate for you how to build a rubric. So we're back to our just our course homepage. We're going to go over here and we're going to go to the edit course. Once I'm in here, we're going to come back and we're going to go down here to our rubric function, and that's where we're going to build our rubric. On that baby. All right. And we're going to build a new rubric. You can see the rubric I've just demonstrated for you. We're going to build a new one. All right. So let's give it a name. All right. So we're going to keep it right now as a draft, and we can publish it. And that's going to be important because you won't be able to link it to a assignment until it's published. All right. So let's come back here. You can put in a description. And of course it helps if you can type and spell at the same time as doing these kinds of things. Okay, so it's an analytic, and here it gives us some default values. You can go in and override these right away. Let's just leave them at the defaults right now. We're going to go for a point scoring system. All right, so we're going to just go to the point scoring. Just keep it simple for now. All right, so let's save that rubric. Okay. All right, now let's come in and let's see what it's going to start to look like. So let's go into the levels and criteria. All right, so this shows us what the rubric is going to physically look like. So we've got 4 levels of grading. We've got 3 different criterion for our grading. All right, now you can go in and edit any one of these things in here. So let's talk about editing the criterion group. Okay, so we're going to say that this is a let's give it a name, rubric building assignment. All right. Helps if you can type and spell at the same time. And then it says, okay, so I've got 4 levels. All right. Maybe this is advanced. This is going to be done. This would be let's say well done. And what else? What are these good assignment sections here? How about acceptable, and maybe developing. All right. So you can have any kind of criteria as you want here, and of course we've got a different point scoring over here. Now you can modify this and adjust this at any time. Okay. Many people use the default scoring systems here. I often use a scoring system different than this so that I can have a weighted rubrics, and we'll talk about that maybe sometime in advanced ones. So we've got our rubric building assignment. That's the name of this assignment. In this section of the rubric, we can add or add different criterion groups later on, so you don't limit it to one section. And we've got 4 scoring areas, and we've got different points associated with them, and you can make those anything you want. I've got criterion 1, 2, and 3, and we can actually edit that criterion group. All right, so we go edit criterion group. All right, and I scroll down here now, and I can say maybe we'll make this first section. So we might want to score them for this formatting, and we might want to have formatting for the, and maybe we're going to score the introduction and the conclusion. And don't be worried or concerned if you want to add or subtract different groups in here. And you go, oh, wait a minute, what about the middle part here? No problem. All right, I can go into my edit criterion group, go down here again, all right, and I can always add to this. All right, oops, I'm going to save that. Probably a little easier way in here would be to add a criterion below this one. All right, and it's going to pop up. All right, and I'm going to call this one body of the report. All right, and I'm going to save that. And now we've added a different section here. So now I've got 4 scoring levels and I've got 4 criterion. All right, and you can see I can add or rearrange these at any time. All right, then it's got my overall score, so it's going to calculate these for me, and that's one of the beautiful things about this rubrics, is that it does all the scoring for you. Now you can go in here easily and give our preordained feedback or the elements to each one of these that are going to be important. So if I enter my criterion, you might say, you know what, to get the advanced scoring, the description might be all elements created correctly, right? And maybe the well done is 1 key element missing, all right? 2 key elements missing. So you might define why you're giving this particular score. So whatever that is, a student needs to get the feedback on. So you can go, so now you've got the elements that the students and you will be able to see on why potentially you're giving these different scores. All right, and that's a key element of rubrics. So I'm not going to harp about that too much. So we're going to close this rubric right now. So we've created a rubric, and you notice now that it's analyticals point and it's still a draft. So to be able to link that to my assignment, I've got to go in here again, and I'm going to edit the properties, right? And I'm going to remove it from a draft to a published version, okay? And I'm going to save that. And that's an important step, because now that it's published, I'll be able to link it back to my assignment. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take that rubric we've built and we're going to link it to an assignment. So let's go into our assignments, and we're going to create an assignment for this. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to create a new assignment. All right, and we'll call this so we got rubric building use 101. I'm going to save and close that. All right. Oh, so there, I've created a new assignment. Now, wait, let's go back here and let's edit the assignment, because I want to make sure that I've got all the elements. I want to make sure that the students can see this assignment. All right. I want to make sure that it's got all my basic elements for an assignment set up here. And I'm going to make it out of 16, because that's how much we made a rubric out of. And we're going to add the rubric. Now, this is an important feature. We're going to get back to this new grade item and building something for the grade book in just a minute. But the first thing I want to do is add a rubric. And you can see here I've got the rubric building assignment rubric that I've built already with you. All right, so we're going to add that. It comes up in here. And then we're going to come back up into here and we're going to say, you know what, we don't have any gradebook items in there, so I'm going to create a new grade item. All right, and we'll call this rubric assignment 101. All right, and so we've created this new assignment. All right, I'm going to make it out of the same number out of points as the rubric was, out of 16 points. We're going to weight it by 10%. All right. Use the regular default scheme. We can put some specifics on the dates and stuff here if we want to. All right. Save that right now. Okay. So the two things that are important that I've done here, I've added the rubric that we created, and I've created a new grade item within my grade book. All right. So let's save and close this. Now, before we can do anything or see what the students have done here, we have to make sure that the students have submitted something. And this is also a useful tool for us, because we want to make sure that this is all working properly. All right, so I'm just going to go down to my class list. All right, and I'm going to do the usual impersonate a student. All right, just to make sure everything's working properly here. So I'm going to go on assessments, and I'm going to go to my assignments now. And I can see, okay, there's my assessment. I haven't submitted anything yet. So as a pretend student, I'm going to go in here. And lo and behold, I can actually see the rubric. Now this is really nice for the students, because they can see how they're going to be scored and that they understand the scoring system for the assignment. And I'm going to make a submission here. And I've already got one on the ready here, so we'll just upload it from my file. And I'm just going to All right. Now this is important. You won't be able to utilize the rubric unless the students made some kind of a submission. So even if it's for a laboratory skills, the students will have to submit some kind of a document for you to be able to utilize the rubric tool. It's just a little glitch of D2L. Okay, so as a student now, I can go in and I can make sure that I've made a submitted assignment. As an instructor, I'm going to test to make sure all my tools are working. All right, so let's come back here, and I'm going to come back now as an instructor, and I'm going to make sure this is all working properly. So my notice says that I got a new new submission from a student. So I'm going to go up to my assignments, come down here, and I'm going to click on my rubric assignment. I'm going to see, oh, okay, so I got a student who's made a submission. So let's click on that. And I can view their submission. All right. And more importantly, I'm testing my rubric tool. So let's go down here. So here's the rubric building assignment tool that we got here. Let's click on that. And I can see that it's now functional. All right. So if I go down here, you can see that I could move this off to the side a little bit or make it a little bit smaller. At least usually I can. There we go. All right. And so I can actually see the student's assignment here in the front window and score the rubric. If you've got a computer with two screens, this can be really useful to do. So let's score our assignment here for the student, just to test it, make sure it's working properly. I'm just going to leave a little comment here. And we should make sure we do this make sure it's functioning properly. And I'm just going to save that. All right. So I've given my student a score. He's at 12 points. I'm going to put the feedback right into their assignment. So save and record. So as a student submission, I come back here. I can see I've got my score included here. I've got my feedback in there. So I'm now going to publish so the students can see this. Now you don't have to do this right away. You can wait till you've marked all the assignments, but I'm going to test it today. All right. So we come back here, we publish the data. So let's go back to our submissions. And I've come back here now as an instructor. Okay, so now as an instructor, I can go back and check what's been published. But I can go back to my gradebook. And there we have, already marked and entered into my gradebook, is the rubric submission. And that's really quick and effective and easy to do. All right. So in this short video, I hope I've shown you how to create a rubric, how to attach it to an assignment, and how to build it into your gradebook so that it automatically updates. I believe that using these rubric assignment tools will make marking quick and efficient, especially for courses where there's multiple instructors marking an assignment or a skill. Thank you very much. I'm Alan Prost.